Flight Boss, bitch, you know, for sure. You're now listening to the Mind of an Terry Smooth, Flight Boss, the Archangel Uriel, and Dolo here to carry out God's duties and motherfucking responsibilities. And right now, we're going to talk about the ancient religion. Ancient. Now, this is what you need to understand. Me and my soul group, so I'm going to say we, was here before everything. Everything. All y'all religions came from us. See what I'm saying? All y'all theologies, ideas came from us. And I'm going to explain it. Now, this is what you need to understand. For a person who's into astrology and to hear something like, and to hear a person like me say, the planets are beings, I'm going to bring the right and left brain together for y'all. So y'all can understand where astrology, where religion concepts came from, and what they was all trying to explain just in their own metaphorical way. Because people are really confused amongst the right and left brain. And I understand in my videos, I can go far left and I can go far right. But you don't understand it because you may be only left and you may be only right. And me, I'm just vibrating very high between both. Where you're just vibrating real low between both. I'm way out here between both. So this is what you need to understand for the most part. You are a being, right? And when you want to get to know your being, you want to know all your planets, right? Now, as far as we can observe, is as far as we know. So, if we only know 7 to 10 planets, then that's like saying you only know 10% of yourself. See what I'm saying? But you do understand, to know yourself, you need to know what's going on with your 7 to 10 planets, right? Right. We talk about the sun, moon, Mercury, Venus, Mars, Earth, Jupiter. You know what I'm saying? Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto. You know what I'm saying? Mars. You know that, right? To know your being, know your planets. So, you even break it down to a chakra system, don't you? You say the crown chakra is like the sun. You say this is like Mercury. You say your third eye chakra is like the moon. You say your heart is like Earth. You know what I'm saying? With Earth, you replace the words and say heart. You know what I'm saying? You say the fucking you broke it all down how it plays out as a being, right? But if I was to sit here and tell you the being you in is the solar system and the sun, the same way you describe yourself is you describing the overall being you in. So when I tell you that, why would you argue with me? You see what I'm saying? This is ancient religion. I don't even like to call it religion. This is ancient knowledge. This is where religion was. I don't know why y'all made it religion, but this is what they was really trying to talk about. In order to know your being, you have to know the being you in. In order to know your system, you have to know the system you in. In order to know your organ, you have to know the organ you in. As above, so below. So, don't you think it's beings in you doing the same thing with you? There's that mirror reflection energy right now. Check this out. Now, when I say planets and the stars got a consciousness, I'm gonna bring y'all right and left brains together. When you want to know how you love, the things you love, what you appreciate, what you value, what you relate to, how you compromise. Love in general. What you go to? Venus. If you want to know what area of life you do that in, at what space and location do you go to? The house. You see what house Venus is in, right? So that's how you know how you love and appreciate and value and relate to things, right? So you was given that love, right? You was given that energy. From where? From Venus, right? Right. So think about it. Think about that. You got your love consciousness from a place, and then you willing to argue with somebody who's telling you that place is conscious. Now let's take it a step further. Right? When you go through situations in your life that's dealing with love, you may have went through a breakup or whatever like that, you go see what's going on with Venus, don't you? You go see what sextiles, what transits is going on, right? Right? You go to that to see what's going on with you. So if you within something to figure out what's going on with you, don't you think that's going through that also? So when you look at all your planets, you be like, okay, this is me. This is my 360. I'm complete. This is who I am. Because you took all your planets and made it as one. So when you take all those planets up there, right, and make them as one, you have to make sense out of it and be like, okay, this is who that is. So now that you understand it from a conscious level, now you know how, in a spirit level, now you know how to separate it from a physical level. So when I say things like the sun is evil, Venus is evil, Saturn is evil, I'm not saying nothing different than whatever you was into was saying. Lucifer the morning star, Saturn the goat. I'm not saying nothing that I'm giving you the words from though. Wherever you got it from came from. The shit you trying to decipher, the shit you trying to learn, the shit you trying to debunk. I'm telling you where this shit came from. So these are just nature's consciousness. Just like the same way you could be evil right now, you could be bad, you could be good, you can be positive. You got a lot of different characteristic traits, right? How do you know all the characteristic traits you have? You go to astrology, your planets. So now that you know how to separate it from a spirit and consciousnness from the physical, now you can start to understand how you can get on your spiritual path and how to leave the physical. Because you still got a bunch of people who confuse amongst the right and left brain. They'd be like, oh, he's talking about the sun is evil. So if we leave the sun, look, you automatically dived right back into the physical the moment you said that. The moment you said, so what we gonna do if we go in the cave and we just leave it? You went straight back into physical. I never said anything about what the sun be physically doing. I said what the sun make you consciously aware of. We're getting into the spirit now. We're getting into star consciousness now. We're starting to think like the sun now. But you're gonna tell me I don't think like the sun. And I'm giving you sun consciousness. But in order for you to figure out your consciousness, you go figure out your sun placements. Do you see how dumb you look? The shit I'm talking about is non-arguable. This is nothing to argue. This is just something to learn. And I know the filters of how I look, the way I'm coming across in my words, make it hard for you to filter through and accept that you just received a new knowledge. But you gotta cut the ego, man. Gotta cut the ego. Angels and gods comes in many different ways, shapes, and forms. And you know that. But your ego won't let you accept when it's in front of you. It hurts. It hurt. I know. We ain't gonna get too far into that. Because I don't want to get too much in that ego energy. You know what I'm saying? So, once you know how to set aside the physical, we know what these planets do physically. We know what the sun do physically. I know it transforms physically. Now, physical transformation, you think that's good though. You think physical transformation good. Physical transformation is nothing but death. But since energy is last, because everything is frequency, vibration, energy. Everything is a fucking gas, liquid, solid. Space, spirit, time, line of events, soul, vibration, fluid, what matters became matter, became solid and physical. So in the physical, that's catching the last of it. So when we talk about the sun, the light and the heat, you're catching the energy. You're not catching the frequency vibration. You're catching the energy of it. You see what I'm saying? You're catching what's being seen from it. You're catching what's being physically touched and felt from it. The shit I'm talking about is the frequency vibration of it. What caused it to do that in the first place? So when we talk about forms of transformation with the physical, we can see where it does good. But when we talk about the frequency vibration, I can tell you why that's bad. You see what I'm saying? Transformation, you see life grow out of seeds. You see what I'm saying? You grow, right? But for growth cause death, transformation. So life is really death. You see what I'm saying? Worship, you're up under something, right? But you think it's good, sustaining. You think sustaining is good. You think motherfucking heat and being up under fire is good because of the realm of reality and the illusion that you up under to be able to exist up under it. So yeah, these things may play out physically, which came last, as an energetic force that can sustain you. So for you to be able to be sustained and all your attachments to being sustained may be good. For an example, that's like being in, I hate to keep talking about jail. That's like being in jail. But say you got an Xbox and a TV in your jail cell. Now, being in jail overall is bad. But the point that you got a TV and an Xbox in your jail cell is good. So you look at what's sustaining you as good, but you're not looking at what you're sustained in. You're not looking at the spirit of what you're sustained in. You're in a jail cell. So the way that your mind is going to think by being in a jail cell is negative. But you being in the jail cell, you find the positivity in it. You get to play video games. You're not going to be bored. You get to watch TV. You got cable. You see what I'm saying? So what's sustaining you in that jail cell is the things you start to attach to and start to say, oh, okay, so take the analogy as the jail cell being the world and the Xbox attached to the TV as being the sun. You will look at it as, so if we ain't got the TV and the Xbox, we're gonna be bored in this world. So how can you say the TV and the Xbox is wrong? But what I'm telling you is the TV and the Xbox is just what's sustaining you in the jail cell. So you see what I'm saying? So the TV and the Xbox is the shit that you thinking that if you didn't have, shit all go to shit. But you need to understand that the reason you got the TV and the Xbox there, why did you need the TV and the Xbox there for you to not be bored in the first place? You see what I'm saying? So take that analogy back with if you still confused amongst the right and left brain and you don't get it, then understand this. The sun sustains you physically, right? But the frequency vibration of it, right? Why is it like that in the first place? Why do you need to be sustained in the first place? Why do you need to be up under a light in the first place? You know what I'm saying? And then once you get there, you start to understand everything that light contributes to. Not only do the light contribute to the trees and flowers growing that you think you need to pluck fruit from, but you will start to realize the light also is the reason for the information you receive, the things you're consciously aware of, the things you can actually see, not just what you could physically see, but what you could consciously see, what you could consciously be aware of. And you know for a fact that your sun deals with your consciousness awareness. So your ability, so if you still confused amongst the right and left brain, if you're like, I can consciously see something, I can consciously see down and up. This is what I'm talking about. If you're around a group of people, right, and a person is saying something, right, and say they're being manipulated, right, your ability to be consciously aware of that manipulator aura that they're trying to put around you, where did that come from? The sun also, right? So this is how you separate what's physical, what you could be consciously aware of physical, and what you could be consciously aware of from the illusions and lights that I'm talking about. You can't just be tied, y'all too lost in the physical still. You see what I'm saying? You got to understand. Now, once you separate that, now you start to understand everything that the light is responsible for. So you start to see, okay, it's not just responsible for just the physical things, it's responsible for these things too. Because this is how I'm able to be what I'm consciously aware of. Even looking at the zodiac sign, whatever your sun sign is, these are the things you're going to be consciously aware of. If you're a fire sign, you're consciously aware of that kind of energy. If you're a water sign, you're consciously aware of that kind of energy. This is your actions. You act on being emotional. If you're an air sign, you're consciously aware of that kind of energy. You act on thinking, communicating, analyzing. You know what I'm saying? It's simple math. See what I'm saying? Your sun sign. See, y'all, you probably not, or whoever disagree with me, you probably not even into astrology enough to even understand the planet's energies to understand it in the way I'm looking at it. You know what I'm saying? But what you have to understand is, once you see everything that the sun is consciously aware of, see everything that the light is responsible for, then you will be able to see, like, oh, okay, we as people, or as humans, I don't agree on terms and conditions, but you as humans, as humanity, have your own conscious awareness, but you're under a totality of conscious awareness. And you get overpowered by not only the heat, because you need the sunlight physically, but you get overpowered consciously also because you need direction, a sense of direction. Not just a sense of direction externally, but a sense of direction internally. You see what I'm saying? Then once you understand that, you start to understand that each man and woman, each species as a humanity is going about their idea. They're going about a totality. They're going about an overall idea in their own ideal way. You see what I'm saying? This is when you start to look at pyramids and groupings of people and races. You start to be able to decipher. You start to be able to take yourself outside and look in. You be outside looking in, and you're able to see. You're able to see the shit I'm talking about. You can't even use words. You can't even use English. There's no language where I was at like this. But you start to see that everybody is playing out their own version of the overall version. So if you look at it's a bunch of different overall versions, aka solar systems, aka beings. You're in this one. So when you rise your consciousness, right, you start to see. You can see it. You start to see, oh, okay, everybody is playing out their own idea of this overall idea that they're in. So then when you go a little higher on the pyramid, now you start to put people in groupings and races now. And because races all have their own analogy, whether they're separated or not. Eventually, it comes together. So now, because as spirits, so now you start to see, okay, once you take it a step higher, you start to see, all right, this grouping of beings, and you can take it into animals and everything, and races and everything. Okay, now this group of beings is doing their overall idea separate from these overall ideas. All of them is doing their ideas, the overall ideas in their own way. Then you take it a step further. Then you have to start looking at, okay, which ones is on top and which ones is on the bottom scale. And then look at their ways of doing it. Then when you look at their ways, if once you already in this realm, you already comparing this overall way of doing things to the way each person, and then you go up higher than that, each race is doing things. Then you're able to look at things, set yourself aside from yourself. When you already set yourself aside and already realize your spirit ain't none of these races you're clinging on to, then you're able to dive into all their mechanisms and be able to set back and look at it like, oh, okay, this group of beings is just doing the overall idea better than this group of beings. And we could trickle it down into people. You could trickle it down into and separate it into, okay, you at a job, you at work, right? And let's just say the district manager is the son, and it wants y'all to work this system the way it wants y'all to run this job the way y'all run it, right? So you're gonna have this person who play this position, this person who play this position, this person who play this position, right? So the person now you have a manager. Now the district manager need a manager. It need a son for that area. Now the person who plays the position to be the manager the best is gonna become the manager, right? Right? So everybody else who wasn't doing that job, that everybody else who wasn't doing that manager job the best way that this person had did in order for this person to get that position, right? It wasn't really nobody's fault. It was just the district manager picked the one who did the best job. So when you looking at it from a spirit nature, a conscious awareness, when you look at a person who's able to who's able to access a position, they're able to access that position because that position was warranted for that energy. So if you're going to look at the sun and planets like that, why argue with me when I'm telling you it's like that? You get it? You see what I'm saying? It's like that. This system and this sun is like that. So whatever, when you go from the bottom of the pyramid to each person, to rise higher on the pyramid to each social group, to rise higher on the pyramid to each race, and then you go to the tippy top to the system that we up under in general, the solar system. It's a reason for everything. Now, I'm not here to tell you what race is on top. Is it the black race? Is it the white race? Is it the Japanese race? There's that because y'all get caught up in America shit where y'all fail to realize that China way harder than white people. You know what I'm saying? Like y'all get caught up in that. Oh, white people ain't gods as black people. Y'all fail to realize motherfucking Japan is shit. White people ain't shit. And I hate to even get racist, but you know what I'm saying? It's just, y'all make me laugh sometimes because y'all just be showing me how small of the boxes y'all in and circles y'all in. Like I say one thing and y'all go crazy on that. White people in this, black people in that, and white people trying to take over the world and shit like that. And y'all just say y'all like in a small box because y'all just talking about some American shit. Nigga, Japan, what motherfucker like what? Y'all stupid, like y'all dumb, like stupid, stupid, like y'all petty, like. But that's what it's about, though. I'm just trying to separate y'all so y'all can understand the internal and the external. And a lot of y'all get confused amongst the right and left brain to the point that y'all don't even know the difference. To the point y'all start thinking that the external is the internal is the external. I was watching a video the other day. Somebody was hating on me the whole video because I said the sun was evil. And before, like, a couple seconds in, off the back, already seen he was confused amongst the right and left brain. He claimed he was finna go meditate and get some melanin. But throughout the video, he was equating the spiritual with the physical. He was sitting here talking about the whole time how we need the sun because we'll be in the dark and it makes life grows and this, that, and the third. He was talking the whole time, but then had the nerve to mention something about meditate. When most people meditate in the dark, it don't take the sun to meditate. That's some spiritual shit with your own sun. I mean, looking at he was really talking like I was stupid, and I'm looking at him like you stupid. You keep equating the right and left brain. It's like it's stupid. I'm sitting here trying to get you to detach so you can understand the internal realm and the external realm. Yes, we know what the sun do externally. I'm trying to get you to understand what the sun do internally. How it transforms your physical. So yeah, it's good physical in the devil world to get up and move and want to have your own kingdom and shit like that. But I'm telling you how the motherfucker is bad and it transform this, but also transform your conscious awareness and make you be consciously aware of bullshit. You be consciously aware of what it's consciously aware of. And what it's consciously aware of is not always shit you need to be consciously aware of, because I can look at a person like you and you separate from me and I can tell you consciously aware of some shit I don't want to be consciously aware of. But you just don't know how to take that a step further. And it's okay. But you seen the little pilot man, so you understand a little bit of star consciousness. So now you can actually tap into these realms. You know what I'm saying? Thanks to me. It's like, boss bitch, goddamn air.